So according to Rick Hummel, the Cardinals promoted three players to their 40-man roster, increasing it to 36. So they're leaving themselves with some room, and I respect that. Mm-hmm. And so let's just first tell you who the guys they kept are. Okay, this left-handed hitting infielder, and he's kind of a hit first guy, but Brendan Donovan, who's hitting .333 with a .450 on base percentage and OPS just over 1,000 for Glendale in the Arizona Fall League, and he had a great year over three levels in the Cardinal system. Had an .854 OPS, and he's played every position except catcher, pitcher, and center field this year for the Cardinals.
He's been active.
Yeah.
I like that. And for everyone who wants to rip the Jeff Albert hitting school, he's a product of it, and he's hitting. And
John Mozeliak told Rick Hummel, STL Today, quote, based on how he's performed this year, it's not too hard to imagine him getting some big league time in 2022. You know what he is? He's just a good baseball player. I'll sign off on that. And this is also an interesting thing, not just the fact they put him on the 40, but they also, the president of baseball operations is talking about him actually being on the big club at some point. This fits into what they want to do more now that they've, turned over the manager's job. Ali Marmol is really going to be big on having a really versatile, flexible bench, like the players like this who can play pretty much anywhere you want to put him. And he's got a live bat, and he draws walks, and he's a tough out, and he hits with some power. He's not a Nolan Gorman power guy. Mm-hmm. And this guy fits the template of how they're trying to reshape their roster. And I think that's great. Plus a left-handed bat, right? Which we know they need. So this guy's worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I will. And to your point, I will throw out a name, not with the power, but the same type of guy as Chris Taylor. Yeah. Play everywhere.
Right.
Fill in, not going to embarrass you. Just enough pop every now and then. But he's, like you said, he's been raking everywhere he went this year.
And then the other two guys they added were two pitchers. Freddie Pacheco, 5'11", right-hander, which most right-handers seem taller than that.
Yep.
But he throws this slurve, and he's got a really good fastball. Anyway, he was at Peoria, he was at Springfield, and he made it to Memphis all in one season. He struck out 95 in 54 innings and had 11 saves. His strikeout rate percentage was, I actually had it in another story that I looked up. It was high. I mean, we're talking about high 30%, 38% or so. So I bet you we'll see him this year at some point.
We'll see a lot of guys that get opportunities in that bullpen. He might get that shot right there.
Another guy, Jake Walsh, who's 26 years old. He struck out 34 in 22 innings at Springfield and had a low ERA, and he was also promoted from the minors. He throws he averages between 95 and 97 miles per hour, and he has 4 saves for Glendale in the Arizona League. So I got to say, these are three guys who aren't just guys. These are 3 guys we're going to see in the big leagues pretty soon.
100%. And I didn't laugh at you, but I'm laughing when you say, "Oh, he throws 95 to 97," and it just occurred to me, it's like, there was a time when any guy who threw 97, like, oh, we got one guy who throws 97.
I know, right?
Wait till he gets here. We got a whole group of them now.
All right. Now, as Hummel points out, it's also notable who did not make, who was not added to the 40-man, which now means you had to add them to the 40-man because of their clock time and all that. Mm-hmm. This means that Delvin Perez, who was their number 1 pick, I think, in 2016, was it 16?
It's been a while, but yeah, that's right.
He's just a teenager, and he'll turn 23 next week. So he is now he can be drafted by another team in the old Rule 5 draft, right? And I think he was available last year in that. I think he was. Don't hold me to that, though.
Sounds correct.
And no one drafted him. So I think part of this is strategy, because he hit 265. He had 24 steals, but his OPS, this is in Double-A, and that's a hitter's league. He had a 665 OPS. That's not good at all, really. So maybe the Cardinals think, hey, no, we don't want to give up on him, but on the other hand, we have got to be really careful who we put on, because there's some guys we know that would get snatched up in a Rule 5 draft if we didn't add them now. And maybe they're thinking, hey, we'll just take the risk that no one will draft him, because if they do draft him, he's got to be on the big league team all year, and
that's true.
Now, the big bopper, the big shooter, Luken Baker, second round compensation pick in 2018. Now he had a .530 slugging percentage, hit 26 homers, at Memphis, but he struck out a bunch. And I think, frankly, from what I was told through the grapevine, he got really big this year, and I think maybe they just thought, look, it's going to be tough managing the situation. And I don't know. I'm a little surprised, though, because that kind of raw power, and that power was on display. And, yes, he did strike out too much.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That one surprised me a little bit.
Maybe, and I'm just going off the top of my head, maybe they're thinking, okay, Jordan Walker might need a spot to play for him. We can't keep him if we need Jordan Walker to move up. We've got Juan Yepez, who looks like if he's not here, I'll be shocked soon. But with those two big bats hanging around, maybe there's just no spot to keep for him, and maybe they want to keep a pitcher or somebody else instead. I don't know.
But there's another name that they did not add, and this one surprised me because they were really up on him, and he was the guy that they identified as the key piece in that trade when they traded Oscar Machado to the Indians, and it wasn't the older outfielder prospect that they got, but it was this John Torres.
We were talking about him in spring training last year.
And he was someone that they thought, and he was a baby when they made that trade. Heck, he's still only 21, right? And I'm looking at his progression, maybe that'll tell us something. He was at Peoria last year, and frankly, he didn't take off. He really stalled. In fact, you look at 2019, the last full season before this past season, and he was an exciting prospect because in 2019, look, it was only like 33 games, but he was in Johnson City, the rookie league, right? And he hit 286. He had an on-base percentage near 400, and he slugged 527, right? And that's 19 years old. But he just has not been able to get it done at a higher level. I mean, there's a couple different times they sent him back down a level. So I guess they concluded, look, we don't know that this is going to happen in the way that we hoped or expected. So we'll see if he gets claimed by anyone. They have a lot of outfielders, though. That's for sure.
That's probably part of the conversation. You have to make a decision, yes or no. And if not, we move on. Maybe they'll bring him back as a free agent. I don't know. There's thoughts there that always occur.
And I like another move. Look, they signed an infielder, a utility infielder that had been designated for assignment by the Rangers, who was actually once in their top 10 prospect list like 2 years in a row. And he was also in Baseball America's top 100 prospect list one time, like he was 83rd. What is his name? I have to find his name.
I didn't realize that this individual was that high. Okay.
Yeah, they did that. They did that. They did it yesterday. It was on MLB Trade Rumors. I saw that, and I got to find his name, and I'm embarrassed, but sometimes I can't find these names because I got a million things in my head. Anyway, he had a bad year last year, and they decided, I guess that the Rangers decided, they just, look, man, there's just not enough room. There were some other guys we had to get on there. They had to make the kind of decisions that the Cardinals made today about Luken Baker and Delvin Perez.
Right.
But this kid has actually played, here, I'll have in a second. This kid's actually played a little in the big leagues. Now, granted, he has not done anything, in the big league level. When he first came up and they were throwing him fastballs, all the time, he showed some power. And my friend and former colleague, the late, great Jerry Fraley, wrote a piece for the Dallas Morning News where he was saying, like, people thought he really had 25 home run potential. But he started getting the Uncle Charlie's thrown to him and all the breaking balls, and then, it all just kind of fell apart on him, So,
Anderson Tejada?
There you go, yeah.
Okay.
And I apologize.
Just trying to go through, and I was trying to find
I apologize to you and our readers, but our listeners, because I couldn't find it, because on MLB Trade Rumors, when I called up the link, like, I got a bunch of gobbledygook. It wasn't like there's something wrong with the link. So that's why I kind of
interesting
froze there. Yeah, he's 23.
Yeah.
And one thing about him, first of all, terrible whiff. He swings and miss, whiff rate. Obviously not. I noticed his chase rate. I was looking him up. He had a chase rate out, swinging the pitches out of the strike zone. Man, like 41%. You can't have it. That's about as bad as it gets.
It's Justin Williams type swing.
So I think they want to take a look at him. They don't have to add him to the 40-man right away. I think they want to look at him, and they want to see if they can help him with his plate discipline. He was experimenting with being a switch hitter. That didn't go well. So maybe he'll go back to just, I don't know if I should know this. He's a natural right-hander or natural left-handed hitter, but he's probably going to go back to what he was. And people are going to laugh, and you can laugh. I don't care, because I got facts on my side. One thing that Jeff Albert has done very well is that he has lowered this organization's in the major leagues and really throughout the system. He has helped lower the Cardinals' strikeout rate.
Mm-hmm.
They are better contact hitters now. And if you think it's like I'm just spitting out a bunch of nonsense, well, take a look at Tyler O'Neill's improvement in that area. He still has a way to go, but he's dramatically improved, and O'Neill's worked very closely with him on that. So we'll see. Anyway, that's that.
Interesting. You mentioned he's from Texas. He's kind of like a middle infielder, and that reminds me that they don't have great success with middle infielders and teaching them how to hit. They've had some high-level prospects fail there in Texas. When you go, oh, this is going to be Rookie of the Year candidate. Elvis Andrus and those type of players are going to be superstars when they start there, and a lot of them just never hit enough. The kid that's playing out in the outfield for San Diego, who I cannot remember his name, but he started in Texas, and it was just like, no, he's not as great as they all thought he was going to be. Maybe a change of scenery works for him. We'll see.
Okay, Tejada was a left-handed hitter and then tried to become a full-time switch hitter. But the left-handed bat is the key, right? And so you look at where he was added to the Rangers 40-man roster following the 2019 season. And his very first game in the majors, he drove in 3 runs. And so in 23 games for Texas in 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is why the Cardinals wanted to take a look at this kid, because he's only 23 now. 23 games for the Rangers in 2020. His batting average was okay. His on-base percentage was bad, but he slugged .453, and he had 3 home runs, some doubles, and 8 RBI. So he showed some pop, but then he regressed in 2021. They said, well, it's probably not going to happen. So he actually became a minor league free agent, and the Cardinals signed him. So doesn't cost anything. Good guy to look at. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Texted in, thank you, Jerks and Profar was the guy I was thinking of. No,
there you go, yeah.
Guys that they said were going to be stars and weren't.
Yeah.
This is an interesting day, though, our time, when you got those minor league guys, got to push them aside. Anybody that Tampa picks up from your organization, you go, uh-oh.
Oh, what did we miss?
What did we miss?
We screwed up.